Oh, yeah. We are live here on another episode of the Calcio Connection, connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. We have a very special guest with us and a special guest co host with us as well. This is the second time we've had the opportunity to bring on Napoli Femminile goalkeeper Kelly Chiavaro, who is a Canadian native. And we're so happy to have her back, even though I say that as if I'm Canadian. I'm actually the only non Canadian on this panel down here in Florida. But we're so happy to have Kelly back. Kelly, welcome back to the pod. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me again. I was excited for this.
Oh, awesome. We're so happy to have you. And we also have our good pal, Joe Fischetti from the Forza Napoli pod with us. And of course, anytime we're talking anything like Napoli, we feel like we have to include Joe. And he's a great guy as well. Joe, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me back. It's a pleasure always to speak with you guys.
It's been too long. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Joe. So I'm happy to have Joe back in the mix as well. And Kelly, the last time we had you on, which was the first time we had you on a couple of weeks ago, you told us so many of your stories about your background and everything, and we'll get into some of the stuff that your team has going on, of course. But this time around, we wanted to talk more football with you. We wanted to talk more Serie A with you. And so what have been some of your big takeaways from the Serie A season so far? I mean, I know our guy Joe is very happy. Our guy Jerry's been an emotional roller coaster supporting Lazio. Joe's happy on top of the table. Our Milanisti friends are on top of the table. I'm with Inter looking kind of up and saying, can somebody please drop a point here? Like, do you think that Napoli and Milan, can they sustain this really high level start that they're on?
I mean, yes and no. I feel like it's been amazing to see these top teams because this is my first time seeing them in person, and I've just realized throughout the season, the start of the season, that these teams have such quality players, and even for instance Juventus the other day had a tougher game and they still managed to pull the win. And so it's crazy. It feels like they're just used to winning and they will never drop points. So for us, it's tough. We're hoping here we need all these teams to lose points so we can get closer. But also, I guess we just have to focus on ourselves. But these teams have amazing players. It's beautiful to watch them play. It's so impressive. I remember when we played Juventus, I was just sitting there and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is just simply amazing. Even when we played AC Milan, they have such quality players. It's really nice to see.
And you look at Juventus, and we, you revealed to us the last time we had you on that, you grew up primarily supporting Juventus because as a goalkeeper, you were a big Buffon fan, which I can totally get that. So it's been very Jekyll and Hyde for Juventus. For a while, they were putting together these typical Allegri type of performances. I think at one point they had 5 straight 1-0 victories, which is, and listen, I am more a fan of results than beautiful football, so there's nothing wrong with a bunch of 1-0 wins. But lately they've got 2 straight league losses. They did though get a victory in Champions League, so it's been a bit of a very much a Jekyll and Hyde season so far for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think they have made some changes and things like that, and so they never know. We never know what can happen, and they still have these results and do well, but at the end of the day, they're still such a great team that no matter what, they figure out how to put it together and get the results. I don't hear anyone.
You're mute, Alex.
My bad. I was gonna throw it to Jerry. Unmute. I'm unmuted. Jerry, I know you've been chomping at the bit to talk some Serie A as well.
Say that again. Sorry.
No, I know you've been chomping at the bit to talk some Serie A as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And since we got Kelly, first question, and I'll, because I'll forget at the end. Basically, who do you think will finish on top if you had to choose at this current moment between Napoli or Milan to win the Scudetto? And we'll throw and I'll throw Inter into the mix too, because you can never count out Inter.
Honestly, I'm just gonna go because Forza Napoli sempre. I'm gonna go with Napoli. They're doing great, and we have to support them all the way. Yeah.
She's not wrong. They are doing great. She's not wrong in anything she said there.
Do you think that Napoli is deep enough to go as far as they can to win the Scudetto? Or do you think they lack in any areas?
I mean, who doesn't lack in some areas? You know what I mean? Like even us, like I feel like all teams lack in some areas, but whatever they're doing right now is working really great. And we've been keeping track and stuff, and we've been following, and I don't see them stopping. And I have a Milan fan in my apartment, so she's like every week, she's like, I hope they lose a point. I hope they lose a point. But every week they like keep getting these points and keep getting these wins, so it's super important, and they're doing really well. So we're just gonna keep going, and you know what? Maybe it'll happen. That would be sweet. I would love to be here for that.
And sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how big of a loss do you think it'll be when Napoli lose players to the Africa Cup of Nations? I mean, as a player, Napoli are going to lose Koulibaly and Gisa and Osimhen. That's like losing Di Marino, Goldoni, and I don't know, Depi, let's say. Those are all three key players, right? I mean, how important do you think it'll be with them playing without those players?
I think it's really unfortunate that the league isn't, that these situations happen where like different tournaments or the Africa Cup and all that, like that affects the people who are leaving. Like I feel like it should be kind of worldwide where like all of the tournaments are aligned, because it doesn't make sense that like some players need to be missing these games. And I think it's similar for us. Like for instance, we had a player at the beginning of the season who had to leave because she plays for the Spain beach soccer national team, and our staff was kind of disappointed and angry because they were like, well, that doesn't align with our international breaks. And I feel like there needs to be a consensus all around that like all of the tournaments are at the same time or similar time, so that these players aren't penalized and don't penalize their teams, because then at the end of the day, it's just simply not, it's not realistic. It's just not fair, in my opinion, at least. Like it's not because they're from someone else that they should, be disadvantaged and have like be missing some games.
And it's such a frenzy, not only, with AFCON, which is like a whole nother wrinkle for players to have to leave. And Milan will be affected by it as well, not just Napoli, but players to have to leave, go play an international tournament and come back. And it's also like, teams like Milan in Champions League, Napoli in Europa League this year, obviously, Juventus in Champions League, Inter in Champions League, to have to condense so many matches in. Then you're going to have Coppa Italia in the mix pretty soon as well. Like for someone who actually plays the game, how difficult is it? Like how taxing on the body can it be? And maybe more so for some of your teammates, because you don't move around as much as a goalie, but it's still very taxing. Like how taxing is it to play multiple matches in a week, and then for some of these players at AFCON to also throw in an international tournament where they have to travel to and from? But just how hard is it on the human body?
I mean, we really see it when the girls on my teams leave for international break, because we still keep a similar schedule, even though like these players are gone, which we have a decent amount of players. So we're shorter. We have less players on the team, but we still keep a similar schedule. So we're in the same routine. But these players, often have 2 trainings a day, and they do all of these things, have all of these games with the traveling. And when they come back, we typically have a few days before the international break is over and we have a game. But these girls are dead. And you can tell at practice, like I remember specifically one of our players, Kaya, who plays for Slovenia, came back the first time, and her first practice back, she was dead. She's like, I physically can't do anything right now. And even Depi, who came back from a camp with Greece last weekend, when she came back, she had 16 hours of traveling. You can't expect a girl who just did 16 hours of traveling to be playing a game in 2 days. And so for that reason, and I mean, they also had some issues with COVID on the team in Greece, but these reasons, all of these things affect the players, and in turn also affect the team.
And when COVID started, like when teams started to return, from the initial COVID hiatus, the FIFA added 5 substitutions where it had previously been 3, and I don't know when or if we're going to go back to 3, if that's happening anytime soon. Do you think they should just keep it at 5? Because I can see pros or cons. Like just for conservation of bodies, it seems nice to have 5 subs, but then you can also make the argument that having 5 subs, it gives such an advantage to deeper, richer clubs, right? That obviously teams like, Inter and Juve and Napoli, who are very deep, and Milan will benefit more from that than mid-table, lower-table clubs. So do you think they should keep it at 5, or should they go back to 3? Oh, and by the way,
I hadn't really thought
Vincenzo.
about the fact.
Sorry to cut you off, but Vincenzo does say it's permanent. I didn't realize that. So do you like that?
I mean, I hadn't really thought about the fact that, it might advantage teams who have like, bigger teams like Juventus and stuff because they have more depth on their team. And I think that's a very good point because, even on the women's side, you look at Juventus, whoever comes off the bench ultimately is one of the best players in the world. They top players on their national teams and all that. And so that's definitely a factor to take in. But in my opinion, I think it's good to have 5 subs because in an instance where, last weekend when we had all of the red cards, we had to use all 5 of our changes. We had an injury, one girl had to go to the hospital, and there was just, we had to use all of our subs. And if we didn't use our changes, well, I think it would have put us to a bigger disadvantage. So at least I'm sure the teams we don't use all of our changes all the time. I know we for a fact we don't use 5 changes every game, but I think having that option can be beneficial, like we said, like for players who are getting injured, to like manage the load on certain players who are maybe coming back from an international break or coming back from an injury. And I know it's been beneficial for our team because we've had a lot of players coming back from injury, and so having the liberty of giving them okay, to this game, your first game back, you're only going to play one half, because we have that freedom of taking you off because we have that extra change off the bench. I think that's really important because, maybe that player wouldn't have been able to play that game or would have had to wait an extra week or 2 weeks, or even worse, would have had to play that game entirely because we didn't have enough changes, and then would have risked getting injured again or, making her recovery, her rehab be longer.
One thing I think with the proposal for the World Cup to be every other year, as much as I hate that idea, part of that proposal was that the entire tournament would be played at the end of the domestic season. So I do like that idea, and I don't see why that couldn't be applied now, where you'd play the entire domestic campaign over 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it is. Then you have 2 to 3 months of just playing internationally, and it completely eliminates all the travel or most of the travel. But I want to jump on one thing that you mentioned, which was the red cards, and this was that was a reference to Napoli's game against Sampdoria over the weekend, the Femminile team. For anyone who maybe doesn't watch the Femminile, first of all, you're missing out because there was all kinds of drama. But I'll quickly give people a synopsis.
Always.
It was a 0-0 game. Napoli are dominating the match. I think around the 77th minute, Di Marino, who's a center back for Napoli, gets a straight red card. If there was VAR in the women's game, it absolutely would have been reversed. It was hardly a foul. So she gets sent off. Then in the 89th minute, Napoli get a second red card. That one probably more legitimate. It was sort of similar to the red card Koulibaly got for the men's team last weekend, where last man back, slight touch, player goes down, sent off. So now Napoli are playing 9v11 for stoppage time, which was supposed to be 5 minutes. The official allows it to go on to 8 minutes, and Sampdoria scores on the final kick of the match to beat Napoli, one of our direct rivals, 1-0. So I want to get your thoughts on all of that drama and how it all played out, and then some of the mutiny that happened after the match as well.
Yeah, I mean, just that whole game was just astounding, honestly. Like you said, we were dominating the game. We were actually playing really well. It looked at least like everything that we had been working on over the past few weeks and even throughout the last games, like everything was coming together well. We had all of our, players, like Soledad was playing, and like you could feel like she was in a rhythm, and like we were really, really close to breaking through, and we were just very happy with our performance. And in the second half, there was like a switch where, you could really tell that the referee was just simply not calling anything for us. Like I think if you look at the stats, they might have had like 1 yellow card. And, I would say we have a team that's pretty aggressive. We get our fair share of yellow cards that are deserved. I have to say they are definitely deserved. But, the game really changed when Paola made that tackle. And, as you said, if you look at the replay, she got all ball. Like it could have not even been a foul at all. And, the referee with no hesitation just pulled the red out. And there are a few pictures of this moment, and you can just tell in everyone's face, like just the shock, like, just, are you kidding me? Where is this coming from? And from then, it just went downhill. And I think the frustrating part for us is that you can call a foul, you can give warnings, some red cards are deserved. Like the second one, I probably would have given the red card as well. But at the beginning of the game in the first half, one of our players got a head injury, and that easily could have been, a card, a warning, a foul, and nothing was called. And this player ended up having to go to the hospital and had like a huge bump on her face, and it was just really bad. And so it's like, if you're going to make these calls, make them, for both teams. And I think this is what hasn't happened for us in the last few games. It's like we keep getting these calls against us, but we don't feel like, our players are protected and like that the same thing is given to the other team. And so that has built a lot of frustration. And then, through all of this, we were still doing very well at the, 9 against 11. We made some changes in, the formation, and we were still keeping the ball. Obviously, it was a lot more difficult because you are 2 men down, but we were still creating some options. And the end of the game was just, horrible. Like you said, it was supposed to be a 5-minute additional time. I remember the coach asking at the 97th minute, like, I'm sorry, but the time's out. And then the referee said, oh, no, there's an extra 1 minute because one of our players had, again, been rocked in the head and was down. And so they added an extra minute. And during that minute, one of our players actually got another elbow to the face. So many head injuries this game. And she went out. We kicked the ball out, and they didn't give it back. They just attacked and scored a goal. And as the goal happened, the fourth referee said there is still 1 minute of play. And then
sounds like something Lazio would do.
Get out of here! They're not that bad. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No,
looks
the
like
Italian
Kelly's
connection.
frozen.
It's the canal. It's the Italian web. It's the Italian internet. Oh no.
The ref blew.
Here we go. Oh wait.
Kelly, you're breaking out now. Man down, woman down, woman down.
Yeah, she's breaking up now. I thought maybe she took exception to my comment about sportsmanship, but if anything, she'd probably agree with it.
She froze. I think she's gonna restart.
Okay.
I think she's gonna restart. That's
she
my.
Might she might need to restart.
Yeah, just to fill you guys in, there was more drama after the match as well. I think there was a bit of a melee where fans were trying to hop over the fence and get to the ref. The Sampdoria team had to hop onto the team bus and drive off before anything serious happened. And then a Napoli player, I guess she had some choice words for the official, Sola James, who's the striker, and she got a red card after the match as well, and I believe a 3-game suspension. So it was pretty dramatic. And just for anyone who doesn't follow the women's game, there's a top half of teams that are really good, and then there's a bottom half of teams that are all kind of direct competitors with each other. So anytime you play against one of those direct competitors, it means a lot, especially this season, because 3 teams will be relegated. So Kelly, we lost you for a little bit there, but you were filling us in on some of the craziness with the officials and those red cards and the extra minute that was added after the ball wasn't played out.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I just got back.
Yeah, no problem. We were just going to say you were, to pick up where you left off, you were telling us that there was sort of a lack of sportsmanship where a Napoli player took a shot to the head, a third player to take a headshot, and Napoli played the ball out, and Sampdoria didn't play the ball back and went on to score the game-winning goal.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they didn't play the ball back, and so to us that was like super frustrating, like the whole game there was kind of a back and forth where when we played the ball out, or when they played the ball out, we gave it back, but it wasn't mutual. There was a lot of arguments between our two coaches because we were like, hey, this should be our ball, and they never gave it back. And so I feel like that got really frustrating at, some point during the game, and just the anger got built up. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now.
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a lag, but we can hear you. Don't worry, we're good.
Okay, cool. So there was a lot of anger and frustration being built up throughout the game, and then when the game ended on that like, final play when we were 8-11, I think everything just exploded and just like it just went from literally 0 to 100 really, really quickly. And so then there was, arguments. One of our players went to the referee and, just like kind of went at it. And he threw out another, like it was, I mean, that's obviously deserved. Like she's an experienced player. She probably should have, controlled her emotions better. And she knows that it was a mistake. But then again, like, another straight red card. And then there was just a lot of chaos with the staff, the referees, the people in the stands just like kind of went crazy also. It was just like very, very tense. And it wasn't a pretty scene, I would say.
How many red cards did that end up being? So 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
3 red cards.
Wow.
And it doesn't really matter for Lazio on Sunday because you can be up a man. Sorry, my apologies. You can be up a woman, and basically, you still beat Lazio for how bad they are. Okay, for how bad Lazio's women is. I don't know how they even show up to a game. They literally got 1 shot on Sunday versus Empoli.
Really?
Okay. Oh, I got the stats here. I had to pull up some stats to this game. 23 shots for Empoli, 6 shots on target, 63% possession. They made 418 passes, 75% pass accuracy. Like, it's atrocious of how bad Lazio is. Like, goals against, 24. Goals for, 4. They've had 4 goals this year, okay?
See, I know what
4
Jerry's
goals.
doing here. I know what Jerry's
This
doing
is-
here, and it's not going to work. Hold on, I got to put my tinfoil hat on here. So this is what Jerry's trying to do. Jerry is trying to inject a false sense of self-confidence. Like he's hoping Kelly is going to go to training tomorrow and say, "You guys got to hear these stats for Lazio." That my new friend Jerry notified me 24 goals against, only 4 goals for. We don't even have to train today. We can take it easy. Let's go eat pizza. We can just show up. I know Jerry. He's a mad scientist. Jerry is trying to commit an act of sabotage. He wants to get it in your mind that Lazio will not be a threat. You tell all your teammates, and everybody takes it easy.
I said this last time when she was on too, how bad they were, and they lost 2-0 to Empoli, man. I literally told her how bad they were, and they got 1 shot against Empoli. They literally, what they're gonna do on Sunday is they're gonna sit back, they're gonna play a low block, and they're gonna wait to counter against Napoli. And if they get a chance, they're gonna try to make the most of it, and then they're gonna go back to sitting back. And that's it. Napoli's gonna control possession.
But the thing is, that can be really dangerous. Teams like that can be really dangerous because, yeah, they just sit back as a block, but then, Lazio has a couple, I mean, I'm going to say more than a couple. Like, there are some players that, like, we watched film on and that, can be very dangerous with the ball. And so if we give them that opportunity to counter, like, you never know what could happen. And, I mean, we've seen the stats this week. I guess they're not pretty. Our stats aren't that great either right now. But you never know. Maybe this is for them. This is their chance to turn their season around. Maybe they're seeing this as their opportunity, similar to us. Like, hey, this is our chance to, do well, get the 3 points, and maybe start our season right here. And so we never know. And, I mean, I don't think, our players are taking this game lightly because of the situation we've been in, and we know that, like, we really need those 3 points because at the end of the day, every game at this point, it's a must win because if you don't beat them, they're going to pass you in the standings, and we can't afford to be lower in any of the standings. We just want to go up from here. And so I think, I mean, I don't know how Lazio is. I don't know what's really going on their team. Like, it looks like it's not going very well, but I'm assuming, like, these are all professional, they're all professionals. They're all, football players. And I'm assuming that, like, they want it as bad as we want it. And so I'm excited to see how the game is going to go this weekend, but we definitely can't take them lightly because they have some players who can do some damage.
I wonder sometimes if how badly people want it when you see how, I know they're professionals, but how poorly they are on the field. Like, I haven't watched all their games, but I've watched maybe a few, and I'm honest. I don't even care. I don't hold back, man. And other than Anderson, who, man, she's got some skill. She's young. I don't know. Maybe this Lazio team is pretty old. I don't know the age of the Lazio women's team, but maybe that's something that age. They're slow. They look slow sometimes. I don't know. Maybe it's the manager not having the right tactics. But I'll ask you simply though that after everything that's transpired this past weekend, do you think that can be an advantage to Lazio and something they can really take advantage of?
Yes and no. I think that, they can definitely assume that right now we're a little bit all over the place, right? Like we are going through a lot as a team, like, with our director leaving and, there are changes, and just when things like this happen, like a team, it's always going to affect the team mentally. And sometimes it feels like it's very, the environment is very heavy. It's very maybe negative, but, one of the things that us players tried to really focus on last week after the game was, you know what, like let the staff fight with whoever they want. Let them argue with each other. Let them blow up their steam. But let's make sure that like we go get these players that run off to the locker room and are, having a fit and like dealing with their emotions. Let's make sure we bring back everyone on the field and like actually stretch and, do our post-game routine. And at the end of the day, like, I think I said this in the meeting the other day, like it's not the staff that's scoring goals. Like we need to make sure that we stay as a team, as the players. And, some people were hoping changes would be made within the staff and the team here. And maybe this is it, this was the breaking point. This, maybe those changes are going to happen. And so it's really important for us to stay as a team. And that's really the most important part. It doesn't really matter what the staff does, what happens. Yes, Lazio can take advantage of it, but it's really what we decide to do as players. And, today we have, some team bonding and we're going out to dinner together. So we're really trying to like make sure that we stick together as a team and we really push through these moments. And so I would like to say that it's not going to be an advantage for Lazio, but, you never know how a team's going to come out. I think we had some good practices this week. We still have a few sessions ahead of the game, and it's really just in our control. Like if we want to, I don't know, shit the bed, then we can. But I don't think I'm hoping it's not going to happen. We really need those 3 points.
Where's my invite? I like to come out to dinner too.
How fast can you get to Naples?
We're actually going. We're not going in Naples. We're going right by our house.
You mentioned the sporting director leaving. I wanted to ask you about that because after that match against Sampdoria, the club issued a press release, and amongst other things, they announced that Nicola Crisano had resigned. And for those who don't know, he was largely responsible for rebuilding this team over the summer. About 90% of the players are new, including yourself. What can you share with us about Crisano leaving? Did that have to do with the results on the pitch? Did that have to do with what happened in this match?
Yeah, I think that, Nicola is super, super passionate, like really the most passionate, our biggest fan. And I can really say that, he was always at the practices and really supporting us and really, I don't know if you hear that. It's just fireworks. Just warning you. He was, really passionate, really there for us. And, he just loved the team so much. Like, I feel like maybe, that got the best of him. And he was so, I wouldn't say emotional, but so involved emotionally. And so that definitely had an impact in, how he felt about the game and this whole situation with the referees. And, we didn't really, it's kind of unfortunate. Like I haven't had a chance to, see him again since we've, talked on the phone and stuff. But I feel like it was just something that was inevitable after, the game. And it's unfortunate, but, at the end of the day, we need to move on and, look ahead for the next game and see how we can change our season around. But I'm sure he's still going to be in the picture. I'm sure he's still going to, follow us and be there and support us. And, at the end of the day, he's the reason why I'm here. And so I have to be like forever grateful that he gave me this opportunity. So, no matter what, happened during the game, at the end of the day, I owe, not that I owe him a lot, but like, I really appreciate, the opportunity he gave me. So.
Thrilled to have Kelly Chiavaro on with us, Napoli Femminile goalkeeper. Kind of off topic for a second, because I remember Jerry asked you last time, Ronaldo or Messi. Let's talk about the next generation, because those are both old timers now, Ronaldo and Messi. They're in the twilight. Who do you think is the best player under 30? I'll give you more than 2 to choose from. Obviously, people will think about players like Mbappe, Haaland. You know, we're all Italian here, so I'll give Federico Chiesa a little bit of love as well. Like, who's a player or players under 30, younger guys you're really bullish on?
Sorry, I missed that last part. Who's player what?
Like any players, player or players under 30, you know, younger than Ronaldo and Messi, that you think are the best in the world right now, that you are especially bullish on and excited about?
That's a very good question. I feel like I would honestly, there are definitely a lot of young players. I have a friend, boyfriend's friend, Christian Pulisic for Chelsea. I mean, he's really young. I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
Do you still hear me? I feel like this connection is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a lag, but we hear you. Yeah,
we hear you.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna be a huge, I'm from Canada, so I feel like we have to support our Canadians, right? But we can definitely see that we've had a lot of Canadians do some great things lately, all over the world, really. And so that's huge, and that's something that we haven't had the chance to see in the past. And I think that that's so inspiring for like so many people, so many Canadians, just like to see these Canadians do so well internationally and in such big leagues on big teams. And, girls and boys, like this goes for both. Like we have such a good pool of young players who are doing so well. And if you look like even in the NCAA right now, we have players who are doing amazing things. There's a few players who are graduating this year, and I'm so excited to see like where they go and like what they do in the future. But, I think when I look at players, I like to look at players that I can relate to and that I maybe know or have like seen, develop and have been in similar system as I have. And I feel like that's super. I mean, there are a lot of young players, and like, we talk about Ronaldo and Messi, but we're coming to a time where like this next generation is going to take over and is going to, it's their time to shine basically. And so like, it's super exciting to see like maybe what Canadians can bring into the picture this time and who the next superstars will be, men and women. So.
I want to ask you something, actually. You said that in your match versus Sampdoria, you guys you kicked the ball out of respect, and then Sampdoria didn't give it back to you guys, right? And basically that ensued into a goal. If I'm correct on that, is that all right, Kelly?
Yeah, exactly. On the last play of the game.
Okay, so
and it was 8-11.
Okay, that's pretty pathetic by Sampdoria. Because I'll tell you right now, if I was on your team, and I would last minute, knowing it's 2-0, I'm going Gattuso style, guns blazing, studs in, take whoever the best player out, and then that's it. No, that's not the right way to do it. But I know that as a player, I would do that because I know that I can't keep my emotions in check, and Joe knows me really well. And I've done that. I've done that at ball hockey actually before, where I've whacked people when they give me like a headshot or something like not classy, and I don't know how to control myself. But I'm going off topic here, and I'm going to go back onto the topic.
Wow. Okay.
How can we fix the situation and get the referees to a better level where we're seeing it, and now. We've seen controversy now in the Serie A between Roma and Milan this past weekend. The previous weekend was Inter versus Juve, and Lazio versus Roma was another one, just to bring up there. I'm pretty sure Napoli versus Roma was another one. I remember there was a high boo from Abraham in that game, but there are other calls too that didn't go Napoli's way. My point is that how can we make the game better? And I know that VAR would be a starting point for the women's league. That can really help a lot.
Yeah.
But in addition, what else can help these referees? Because I'll be off. They stink. 90% of them stink. They don't know. They're certified. They're supposed to know their job, and for some reason, how can you not know that someone kicked the ball out and it should go back to the opposing team and respect it? Like that goal should have been nullified. The referee should just go. Lost you. Okay, there you are. At that point,
No, I'm right here.
the goal. Okay, at that point, the goal should be disallowed. You know what I mean? The referee should get involved and say, "Hey, what's going on here? Like, are you on cloud 9 or?" But I like to hear from you.
You know, like you said, and we've talked about previously, I think like VAR needs to be, it needs to be in the women's game as well. There's no reason why it isn't the men's, it is in the men's game and it isn't in the women's game. But I don't know. I'm confused because I feel like, I don't know if it's a lack of funding, a lack of experience, what necessarily it is, but it doesn't make sense to me that like there are such like these controversial situations with the referees. I feel like, I did my course when I was really young to be a referee because I had to, and it's really not that complicated. And I feel like, we're in a professional league, right? Like we're playing at the highest women's soccer level there is. And I don't understand why we keep, these referees are just, to say the least average, to be kind. But I really can't remember the last time that I had, a good referee. And I think, if you want quality, football, if you want quality sports, you need to also have quality referees. I think it goes hand in hand. And so I don't know what it needs to be, if it needs to be more funding, more, courses, but something is lacking and it's affecting, results of games. At the end of the day, it's also a question of safety, right? Like you rely on your referees to make sure that your team feels protected, like your team feels safe. If there's a dangerous player, a dangerous play on the field, that needs to be taken care of. And sometimes it just feels like it just doesn't happen. It just like, it doesn't matter. It's free for all out there. And so I think it's a very serious problem. I think that it really needs to be, brought to people's attention. I know that like I believe Napoli has, tried to, I'm not sure how exactly it works, but have tried to like do some work and do some, have expressed that they don't want these referees or that like this isn't okay. And they've sent videos and, I believe one of the reasons, that the girl got a red card at the end of the game was like, I think she told him, I hope you watch the game after and you learn from this. And I know that our captain also told him this because at the end of the day, there are these questionable calls that have been made and that are made in all leagues and all teams. But, if these referees don't get told their mistakes, they're just going to keep doing them. And so at what point, where's going to be the improvement? At what point is it going to get better for anyone?
I agree with you because now look, when Napoli plays Sampdoria next time, you don't know how the players are going to react in that because there's emotions. Seriously, you build these bad emotions because of a referee who couldn't keep the game intact, and that goes in your head. Next time it happens all the time in Serie A, where past instances leak. They lead to the next game, and because the game wasn't officiated right or was gone out of control, it turns players to react in certain ways that they shouldn't and could have been avoided. So at the end of the day, I hope that for
absolutely. I think it's we were already talking about the next game against Sampdoria, like not to say that it's worrisome, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be the most beautiful game because there's so much anger and there's so much frustration towards that game and towards the players and towards just how the game was handled in general. And so, in the hopes that by the time we play them, which is going to be kind of I guess next year in 2022, in the hopes that at that game we actually have a good referee and we have someone who will make sure that the game stays under control.
Now, I'd like to ask all you guys. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I want to ask. Like, you're a professional player, and maybe do these referees once they get their certification? Is that it, and that's all, and you just go and you coach for the rest of your career? Like, I think that there should be a rule where these guys referees Like there should be a rule that every 5 years, like a driver's license, say, you got to renew your license in Canada every 5 years. Now, I would say it's different because you just renew it. That's it. I'm going to go a little bit more technical where if you were to renew your license, say in 5 years, you got to redo some stuff to show that you understand that what the rules of the road are, what is expected of you. Maybe as a referee after 5 years, you got to be recertified in certain areas just to be taught, update to the game, anything that changes, like just so that you know where your referees are at and that they understand of the new modern game compared to what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of anything like that.
No. Oh.
Sure,
I didn't say Lazio. It's not my fault.
I'm not sure if there is a course or what. I mean, I'm assuming there needs, like, even for coaches, I know that, like, they need to. Did I miss something?
He said I didn't say Lazio because you were breaking out.
I didn't hear that.
No, he said that I didn't say Lazio because you're breaking out.
Yeah, the last time you got cut off, I made a very snide remark about Jerry's beloved Lazio, and people were blaming me on that, cutting your internet.
Oh. Yeah, my internet is brutal. Someone needs to, show these people in Italy how to put Wi-Fi in the house and how to, deal with data.
Yep. The zone has a lot of issues.
No, but
you're right.
But going back to what you said, I don't know anything honestly about the referees and what the courses are and things like that. But just from being a coach at home and from what I'm assuming, there is something to you have to keep in. I mean, even for doctors, they are always studying and are always taking courses and trying to do more and learning new things. I mean, things change throughout time, and I think it's necessary, but I think that there needs to be, you know what? Just like how they can give us red cards, there need to be sanctions for referees who just simply aren't doing their job, right? I think that would be fair. And I'm not sure that there is. Obviously No, that's all. I'm not sure that there is. And I think that, if something goes bad like last game, I'm just hoping that there is obviously there is a board of referees, but I don't know how easy it is to go to this board of referees and express these things. And I don't know if there's actually any change. If you make a request, does it just get lost in the paperwork type thing? So it isn't. It's unfortunate because it happens all over. Like you said, it happens for the men's too. So if it's happening for the men's, it's not going to stop happening for the women's.
Well, and I think that's why it was important that the club released that statement and called it out,
Yeah.
right? They said we don't agree with some of these decisions that are going away, and at least it puts it out there, and it might hold those officials a little bit more accountable.
Yeah, I think that the next referee that comes when it's a home game, I'm really hoping that it's going to be they're going to send someone who is of quality and is just going to do the right decisions, because I think the club has had enough. And I think even, the president came, had a statement and had an interview and spoke about this. And so I think that they're trying to get people's attention. And at the end of the day, it's like you said, against Juventus, I don't think I would have given a penalty kick, but like it happened against Milan at the last few minutes of the game where it was a clear penalty. And if there had there been VAR, we would have been given this penalty, but because it's a women's game, we don't have that, and we don't have that privilege, and so we lose points, and those points are important. Can you imagine if I'm sitting here and I say I tied 1-1 against AC Milan? That's huge. And so these, it's nice that the club made a statement and that the president is speaking out and people are trying to just get this out. But again, it's like, are we just talking in vain? Hopefully there is change.
I'm gonna have a fun question for you now. We'll have a little fun and
Okay.
Okay, have you watched any of the Serie A this season? Are you familiar with anything that's going on? I know that I'm just saying that have you been able to watch any games? What's going on in the league? Who's performing a little bit poorly, good, all that, or you've just been really busy with your team?
Honestly, again, due to the Wi-Fi issue and because of everything going on with our team, I haven't been able to watch many of the men's games. If anything, I've watched some of the women's games, some of the Champions League games, because those are really cool to watch, and I think not enough people watch them. So no, I think my team is super involved. Whenever we go to, my team is all Inter fans. I mentioned this last time I was on, but whenever we go on trips with the team and on away trips or when we're all together at the hotel, there is always an Inter game on the TV. And even when we're back on, taking a train, everyone's on their phone watching the Inter games. And so those are really the only games that I've caught up on. I think, didn't they play Verona last weekend or something like that? And so those are.
Don't know. Did they?
I believe so, right?
No, they didn't play. They played them early in the season. They just who did they? Oh, I see. It was Empoli, and then who was after that? God, it's starting to run together with these Champions League games.
Yeah.
A couple of victories, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Inter game was definitely on, but I remember there was, as we were about to go to dinner, the Verona game was also going on. And so I think that when we're as a team, there's always some games and people are watching. I know yesterday, a few of the girls went to watch.
Udinese was what it was, by the way. It just came to me.
Yeah, Verona played Juve and gave them a nice beating.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's the game that was on. And so the girls, yesterday a few of the girls got together and went to watch some of the Champions League game, but we're fingers crossed. They started setting up the Wi-Fi here this week. We are in November. I have to, just put a little star next to that, an asterisk. But we're supposed to have the Wi-Fi, so hopefully soon we'll be able to watch more of the games. The girls are like, they watch is soccer. People don't really watch Netflix here, they just watch football. So I think I'll be able to watch more of the games.
Oh man, I'm blessed because my wife watches all the Lazio games with me. But this season, I've learned to take a step back for her, and we've been watching a lot of stand-up comedy. And you should watch Bill Murray. Like, he is awesome. I think his name's Bill Murray.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. I'd say Bill Burr. I'd say
he's the best. That's my favorite comic. He's so funny. I love him.
Really?
Kelly, you
so
watch
good.
that. Come back in the pod. Let me know what you think. But he is brutally honest and awesome. Like, he is great. I can't even talk about what he says because I would be like shamed for life, man. Like, it's honestly great stand-up comedy. Like, if you're looking for a good laugh one night and you just want to hear the truth, it's great, man. Because you just said that no one really watches Netflix, so that's something I would recommend to watch on Netflix if that was something. And the reason why I was asking if you have been watching any games, I was going to ask you which Serie A coaches do you think will not get the panettone come December. I just wanted to do something fun with you, but if you feel comfortable in order to answer the question, feel free. But that's why I was asking if you've been able to like kind of have an idea what's going on in the league. I'm not sure if you hear me. Kelly? Oh.
I think you always get it wrong, Jared. The people that are getting the panettone are the ones that are staying. It's
Shit.
the people who are getting who's not going to get the panettone.
I keep on screwing this up, man.
Sorry.
I screwed up the question. Joe can rephrase it for me.
One of my teammates just walked in and was just imitating me.
Oh, does she want to come on too? She can come on the podcast.
We're having some.
More the merrier. Don't worry.
She only speaks French. She's from France. So if any of you speak French? Because she only speaks French.
Oh, Joe's pretty good in
No?
French.
No,
You got a
not
90.
at all, no. You'd
Can I
have to
just-
translate for us.
She's
Kelly.
actually one of the players who got the red card. She's the second player who got the red card, the center back.
Hold
they
on.
were both
Hold
center
on.
backs. But
Alona.
Hold on.
yeah, it was Marie. She's from France.
Jerry's on Google Translate
Hold
right
on.
now.
Hold on.
Well, she just walked out, so.
Oh, I was just gonna ask her.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Oh,
What were you
come
gonna
on,
ask her?
Come on, va-tu? Come on, va-tu?
Comment ça va?
No,
No,
it's
that's not
hello,
bad.
how are you? It's hello, how are you?
Yeah,
Come on.
but
Va-tu, vas-tu?
she would have understood that. But it's kind of funny because she's from France, and so her French is different from mine, and we always go at it because there are things that I say, and she's like, "What are you saying?" And she thinks my French is horrible, and I'm like, "I don't understand when." Well, I mean, I understand her better than she understands me, and she's like, "I'm never coming to Canada."
I was gonna ask you who did the question. I'm gonna correct the question now because I said it wrong. Who do you think is not gonna get a panettone this summer? Like which managers in the Serie A?
I don't know.
That's a dangerous
I'm
question.
not sure.
I'll tell you
great
one
question.
that
That is a
it would be
dangerous
great
question.
if it would be great since you're a Juventina. It'd be great to see Allegri not get a panettone.
Oh man.
Every time I say I'm a Juventus fan, even here, I always get something like this. That's what I said last time I was on as well. It's like when you're a Juventus fan, people either love you or they hate you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And you
know
have
what?
to be careful where you say you're a Juve fan.
Well, we definitely do not hate you here on this show. So thank you so much, Kelly Chiavaro, who did just an awesome job with us yet again. We hope to be able to talk to you again soon. If you have anything to promote, social media, anywhere fans can find you, the floor is yours.
I mean, I'm gonna try to promote my Instagram. Gotta promote social media. So if anyone could follow me on Kelly Chiavaro _, that'd be huge. But thank you so much for having me. Honestly, this was really cool, and I love being here. It's just such a good time, and it's just a nice opportunity to have a normal conversation and just chill and talk about different things. It's awesome.
Well,
I'm gonna kill it with this. Merci d'entre venu. And I butchered that. 100%.
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
It is,
I don't know what that is.
Thank you for coming on. It's English to French. Merci d'entre. How you say that? Venu?
D'entrée?
D'entrée? D'être.
No, d'être venu.
D'être venu. It's
Merci.
It's
Yeah.
D-E-T-R-E. Yeah. Okay.
Merci d'être venu.
Okay.
Wow.
I tried. I butchered it. And I
Hey,
failed
listen, man.
successfully.
You're close.
I
I promise Jerry will be fluent in French by the next time Kelly joins us. Huge shout out to Kelly Chiavaro. Thank you so much, and best of luck in your upcoming matches. Huge shout out to Joe Fischetti from the Forza Napoli pod. Of course, for Jerry Mancini, I am Alex Dono. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection. Ciao.
Let's